November 30th, Happy Birthday Mark Twain. The Unconventional Life of Mark Twain. Mark Twain was not like other writers of his time. He was a rebel, a humorist, and a man who lived life to the fullest. He was known for his wit, his wisdom, and his unconventional approach to everything he did. As a young man, Twain worked as a riverboat pilot on the Mississippi River. He loved the freedom of the job and the adventure it provided. But he was also a keen observer of the world around him. And he used his experiences on the river to inform his writing. Twain's first big success came with his book, The Innocents Abroad. The book was a travelogue of his trip to Europe and the Holy Land, and it was full of his trademark humor and satire. It was a hit with readers. And it established Twain as a major literary figure. But Twain was not content to rest on his laurels. He continued to push the boundaries of what was acceptable in literature, and he was not afraid to tackle controversial topics. His book The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn was a scathing critique of slavery and racism, and it remains a classic to this day. Twain was also a man who loved to have fun. He was known for his love of parties, his fondness for cigars, and his irreverent sense of humor. He was a man who lived life on his own terms, and he inspired others to do the same. Despite his unconventional ways, Twain was deeply respected by his peers. He was a member of the prestigious Bohemian Club in San Francisco, and he counted many of the leading writers and thinkers of his time among his friends. As he grew older, Twain remained true to himself. He continued to write, to speak out on social issues, and to enjoy life. He was a man who never lost his sense of wonder and curiosity, and he inspired generations of writers and readers with his unconventional approach to literature. Today, Mark Twain is remembered as one of America's greatest writers and a true iconoclast. He lived life on his own terms, and he showed others that it was possible to do the same. His legacy continues to inspire us all. The turning points of Mark Twain. Mark Twain was a man who lived a life full of adventure, wit, and wisdom. But his life was not always easy, and he faced many turning points that challenged him to stay true to himself and his beliefs. As a young man, Twain worked as a riverboat pilot on the Mississippi River. He loved the freedom and adventure of the job, but he also saw the harsh realities of life along the river. He witnessed the brutal treatment of slaves and the division between North and South that would eventually lead to the Civil War. When the war broke out, Twain joined the Confederate Army, but he soon realized that he did not believe in the cause. He deserted and fled to Nevada to start a new life. It was here that he began writing and found his true calling. Twain's first big success came with his book The Innocents Abroad, a travelogue of his trip to Europe and the Holy Land. The book was a hit with readers and established Twain as a major literary figure. But his turning point came when he decided to write a novel. Twain had always wanted to write a novel, but he had never been able to find the right story. One day, he overheard a man bragging about his adventures on the Mississippi River. Twain was intrigued and decided to write a book about a boy who runs away from home and has adventures on the river. The book was called The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, and it was an instant success. But Twain's success was not without its challenges. He faced many setbacks in his personal life, including the death of his wife and one of his daughters. He also faced financial troubles and was forced to declare bankruptcy. But even in the face of adversity, Twain refused to give up. He continued to write and to live life on his own terms. As he faced the turning points in his life, Twain remained true to himself. He refused to be defined by society's norms and conventions, and he instead chose to live life on his own terms. His writing reflected his beliefs, and he used his platform to speak out against injustice and to promote equality. Today, Mark Twain is remembered as one of America's greatest writers and a true iconoclast. He faced many turning points in his life, but he always stayed true to himself and his beliefs. He lived life on his own terms, and he inspired countless people to do the same. Despite his success as a writer, Twain continued to face personal and professional challenges. His next turning point came when he decided to write The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, a book that would become a classic but also face controversy due to its portrayal of racism and slavery. Twain refused to sugarcoat the realities of the time and instead chose to confront them head-on, standing up for what he believed in even when it was unpopular. Later in life, Twain faced another turning point when he lost his beloved daughter, Jean. The loss devastated him, and he struggled to find meaning in life. But once again, he refused to give up. He continued to write and use his voice to speak out against injustice and promote equality. Mark Twain's legacy lives on today, not just through his writing, but through his unwavering commitment to living life on his own terms and standing up for what he believed in. His turning points remind us that life is full of challenges, but it is up to us how we respond to them. We can choose to stay true to ourselves and our beliefs, just as Twain did, and in doing so, we can inspire others to do the same. Mark Twain was a man of many turning points in his life. However, the most significant one was when he decided to follow his passions and become a writer. His journey was not an easy one, with many obstacles, but he never gave up on his dream. Through his writing, Twain spoke out against injustice and inequality, and he inspired others to do the same. He refused to be defined by society's norms and conventions, choosing to live life on his own terms. His legacy continues to inspire writers and readers around the world.